Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Spotlight series. Today we have with us Mr. Sushmit Jairaj. He is the founder and CEO of GIBS Travel Technologies Private Limited, and he's from Kerala. And he will talk about his company, growth stories, and how he made his business so successful after so many hard work. He can spend his life into the business. He can share his growth stories with Club TV. uh, Welcome, sir. Welcome to the show. And will you please introduce yourself?
I'm Sushmit Jairaj. I am an entrepreneur. I invest in small businesses and help them grow to become bigger. And my primary objective is to appeal to the large masses for all these businesses because ultimately they have to grow out of their shells and become bigger companies and uh, give back to the community that they serve. So that's the ultimate objective that I always carry. And in the process of doing this, I've been in business for more than 20 years now. And I have been working with entrepreneurs just like myself and other startups as well to help them grow and build their businesses in a uh, better and responsible environment.
So, sir, my question to you: where this idea came from? How did you start your venture?
Well, I started my first venture when I was just 19 years old. It was called One Cellnet. It was back in Dubai. At the time, there was nothing as in like a VoIP call, a voice over internet protocol. That's the first time VoIP was introduced into the market in the entire Middle East, actually. And I sensed this sheer need for making calls back home because UAE is considered to be not just UAE, the entire Middle East. The people who work there are all expatriates who belong to India and other countries. So they all come together and they just have one dream. On every Friday, they make calls back home, and because the calls are cheaper during Fridays. So this is the trend at the time. So I just cracked the code by giving them the opportunity to make the calls online. At the time, there was no such thing at the for them to exploit. So it was a complete monopoly by the company called Etisalat. They ran the telecom industry back in UAE, where I serviced. So this was an instant hit. It spread to 32 countries in a short span of 8 months. And later on, we got to service the entire Indian community over there, who were able to get cheaper telecommunication calls back to their own homes. So it was a great start for us, both financially as well as we served a larger crowd of the Indian market as well.
Kind of challenges did you face?
Current challenges, what I face is people have a lot of information. It's an information era that we live in, and everybody knows everything. So you're pretty much, going to be guessing what they don't know, or they're always going to cross check with you as to whether the information that you provide is going to be useful in any way or not. They're always going to be having that doubt. So inspiring them to, look up to you is the most important thing, which means there's a sheer need for perspective changes. Perception is what guides people to come to you or to go away from you. So if you can manage the perception of people, that is the most important tool you can use for your own, for any businesses in this world. So managing perception, teaching them how to manage people's perception about you is a key role of mine nowadays. So it's very important that people understand it. Not many people understand it very easily because branding is all about managing people's perceptions. But not many people understand branding as much as big brands do. Small companies, especially, they don't really, know how brands work or how brands are able to change the perception of people so that they're attracted to the products that then they're trying to market. So it's important that people understand that they take great difficulties in order to brand their product, or in order to reach out to the target market that they are servicing. So nowadays it's very easy to connect with people, but it's also important to understand how you build strategies to connect to those target crowds that you have. So that's one area that I see most people find difficult. And marketing is a key aspect for all businesses. So as long as they understand the fundamentals of it, that's when they would start gearing up for greater heights.
My next question to you, sir, when you building your company, what one thing which you feel like I'm on the right track?
Well, in my journey of business over the past 20 years, what I've learned is, if everything's going well, then you're in trouble. Because someone's going to interrupt you, but it's because you're slowly going to get into a comfort zone. The moment you're in comfort zone, complacency sets in. And complacency setting in means you're always doomed to fail. That's what happened to Nokia. That's what happened to Kodak, one of the biggest companies in the world. That's what happened to Yahoo, one of the biggest companies in the world. Complacency set in because they think they rule the world and nobody else is going to come over. So they think a small company like Google is not going to take over the entire operations that they had. So it all happens overnight. And people like IBM, for example, how they made this small mistake that cost them an entire fortune because of Microsoft. So there are plenty of examples like these, where you should be very focused on innovating while you proceed with the work that you have, or the business that you have. It's important that you understand how important it is to innovate and try to find ways to get better. Because where you're sitting right now, for example, Google is the biggest advertising company in the world. They didn't become a huge advertising company because they had the vision of maintaining that company that way. They never started the company thinking it's going to be an advertising company. They just want one thing, that's to serve the people with the best information possible. That's all they had in mind. Everything else followed. Money followed them.
Yeah.
The investors who made early investments in Google did not believe in them. They thought this company is doomed to fail. The first 3 years they were making serious losses, heavy losses. Nobody knew that Google is going to come out such big as such a huge company. Yahoo even priced Google at $1 billion. I'm sorry, a few $1 million just to take over the company. But Google refused, and Yahoo simply laughed at them. So who had the last laugh now? Google. Now it's a $1 trillion company, and nobody can think of buying them. So what I'm trying to say is, it's important not to allow complacency to set in, and people have to find ways to get better. The product that they have may not be the best product. They can always think of finding niche markets, or they can think of what kind of services that they can provide people, so that they can capture a larger market share. That's very important. Not many people think about market shares these days, unless they're trained to do so. So increasing your market share is obviously going to be the key aspect. So when you think in that terms, that's when you start thinking about scaling the company. How can I scale from a smaller scale to a bigger scale? How can I service to a different market than what I'm already serving? So traditionally, people never used to do that before, because they always focused on a certain area or locality that they are familiar in. But there are other localities as well. Actually, it's about the vision. Most founders, they don't have a clear vision. They have a vision as in, I want to make money, but that's a very small vision. When I say I want to make money, it's not very clear. How much money do you want to make? What kind of areas do you want to service in order to make that money? What kind of products do you want to do? So they just want to think that, yeah, I want to start a business. Most people, if they have 10-20 lakhs, they start a supermarket in Kerala, or a small store, for example. Maybe they take up a small trade or something like that. And but they don't have the vision as to why they took up that business. Why are you going to invest your money, hard-earned money, into a business that you might want to close down later on, which means you lose the entire set of money that you had. So it's purely about having a clear vision as to why you want to start that business, why you want to get into that sector, so that they understand a deeper market size, or you understand the people better, what the people need, and how are you going to service those people. All those things has to be answered before you get into a certain product line, for example. So if you can have a deeper vision, as then you start defining different roles of the people working with you as well. Most of the time, they just have hire employees and make them work in a certain level, and you don't know when to. I mean, what kind of definitions that they would need to have for that role, that particular role. So it has to be clear as in what processes and procedures that they have to be following to be in that particular role. If you're a manager, what should you manage? What areas can you manage? How much can you manage, and what is your target? So these definitions are not usually given in small companies. They just come, they just work, they just go. So obviously, businesses also, they start, they serve for some time, then they'll go. Well, when it comes to AI, these days, people spend a lot of time trying to figure out what the hell is AI, because they don't know what AI is. There are so many companies out there who are simply rolling out AIs in every direction they can. So you have companies doing marketing. They use AI extensively to be able to understand what kind of behavior pattern the clients have in order to choose a certain product. For example, in supermarkets in Germany, they have used AI to understand the mood of different customers coming at the counter. What did they purchase based on that particular facial expressions and moods? So they want to understand how people think before they buy a certain product, so they can start redirecting the location of the products accordingly, or maybe the way it is positioned in the supermarket, for example. All those things can be changed according to these findings that they have using AI. At the same time, if you go to a software company nowadays, they don't have to write 10,000 lines. For them, it is just a matter of using a small framework which is governed by the AI, and it's very easy for them to just make their work much easier. So the delivery time is much faster. Of course, it has increased and improved the business approach, because obviously you have a shorter processing time, and the clients are more happy. So it is definitely going to serve you better in the long run. The only question is how much application are you having in your own company? Because not many companies have access to AI, because they don't want to spend that effort to learn the applications of AI in their own businesses, because they are terrified of how changes are. Some companies don't even want to follow that path, because they are very comfortable with the standard format that they have. But the competition's always going to set in, because they're all using AI to make work so simple. So obviously they will start losing out on their customers or clients if they don't embrace AI, because that's the latest trend that you have in the market. It's not going to be bad for business. It's definitely going to improve. As businessmen, it is definitely going to help them save a lot of costs. And as employees, maybe some of them can be laid off in the future. But that depends on whether you are going to adapt to AI faster or not, because you have to learn AI in order to remain as an employee as well. It will become a requirement like that in the future. So that is one thing about AI. And how much we depend on AI is another question, because AI is there will be a time when AI will start commanding things to the human beings that who invented AI. That's going to come.
What inspired you in life?
One person who has always inspired me is Sachin Tendulkar.
I knew it. You with the
It's primarily because I was a sportsman when I was a young person. I used to be a badminton player. I used to play for UAE.
Oh, you play for the UAE? Yeah, my God. Yes,
Yeah.
you're the celebrity of the show. That
No, no. That was a long time ago. And
when you played for UAE.
when I was 18, 19, 20, 3 years. So I had an accident in my young time, and because of that, I hadn't have a corrective surgery. So I had to stop playing after that.
Oh, so that's a different story.
Yeah, about inspiration, yes, it's. I have always been inspired by Sachin because of his humility.
Yeah.
That is one thing that has always inspired me, and I have made sure that no matter how, because I have made my share of mistakes
Yeah.
when I was young. Yes, money has gotten to me, and it has gotten to my head. So obviously, humility is going to keep you, on the ground, always trying to guide you as to what is right and what is wrong. So that is important, to understand humility and to maintain your level of learning, your level of whatever you do should be based on that humble thing, along with your confidence. Confidence is important, and when it comes to sports, such as who inspired me. When it came to business, it was for my first experience with a businessman was Yusuf Ali.
Yusuf Ali.
Lulu, the
Who is his
owner of Lulu Center.
meeting?
Yeah, when I was in eighth grade, I was born and raised in Al Alain. It's a part of Abu Dhabi. So my dad had a cousin who brought Yusuf Ali home because Yusuf Ali was a key figure in our Kerala community, and he came to meet dad because dad was in a very powerful position at the time, and he understood Alain really better. So Yusuf Ali wanted to start a center of Lulu Center here in Alain. So he came down here to understand the market, to understand who are the important people here. So he had an opportunity to come to our home. That's the first time I met him. The energy that he shared, along with the humility that he had, even though he was a big man in the time, in our community, and we are nothing in front of him, but the way he was so humble and so down to earth, and he cared for our talks. He listened very cautiously to every person who spoke to him, and the energy he shared in the room was amazing. That really inspired me. I tried to understand who is this guy, and that's when I started to ask my dad about him. And I've heard so many stories about him. He's a person who reached great heights because he's always thinking of innovation.
I know.
Innovation. So after I studied his life story, this is what I figured out. I figured out that you have to, in order to stay in the market, in order to be relevant, you have to be an innovator. You have to be thinking of new ways of doing things in order to, make people inspired, or in order to draw them to your company. So this is what inspired me. There's no one in my family who's doing business. I'm the only person doing business. So the only thing that gave me interest or kept me interested or inspired me to start a business of my own was Yusuf Ali. So talent can open a few doors, but it's hard work that opens the rest of them. But yeah, I believe that to the core, because you have to work hard. I know some people talk about working smart, but yes, that is part of working hard as well. That is just a part and parcel of it. You cannot, just because you're rich, you have a lot of money, doesn't mean that your business is going to be successful. For that, you have to have that passion. You need to be very passionate about what you do.
Well, my next question to you, sir. Any book or movie we would like to recommend to our
Rich Dad Poor Dad. That is something that inspired me to the core because it was something that changed the way I think about business, changed the way about how I should be approaching money. Whether thinking is not just enough. You have to put some effort to make it happen. That's very important, and not many people understand that part. They just think that imagining being rich is going to make you rich. No, you have to put your action towards how you want to get there. That's also there. Small steps has to be taking you to your destination as well. But yes, of course, thinking is important. Believing in yourself or your dreams are important, because that is always going to help you get to some place. It'll direct you to a certain place, but what really gets you there is your actions.
Inspections. So thank you so much for your time. It's been pleasure talking to you, sir. And thank you.
Likewise.
Um,
Stay tuned to Club TV with for more business insights.
Perfect.